Well, thank you very much, Mr. Shareef, for joining us today. I would like to start by asking you to go into greater detail about what you think the impact of the international coalition strategy on the fight against ISIL has occurred inside of Iraq.
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure. And I think that it will be a good opportunity to elaborate the strategy of the coalition as it was approved and agreed by both sides. I mean, the coalition and, in fact, Iraq now part of the coalition since we are on the ground. And to start with the task of the coalition, of course, the main topic is to defeat Daesh. In addition to defeating Daesh is the humanitarian support and later on support on stabilization. How they are going to do it is through the advice and support, the advice on joint planning for operations, and the airstrike. Of course, in addition to the training, equipping, enabling, and another type of supports. There is 4 phases for this strategy. The first phase started with degrading of Daesh, which is through disrupting the financing of Daesh and the foreign fighters, disrupting the foreign fighters' flow. And this is phase 1. Phase 2 is counterattack, both on the ground, the Iraqi security forces, and with the airstrikes from the coalitions. And then the stage of defeating Daesh. The final phase is the support of stabilization. I think from the implementation of this strategy, we noticed that there is many lessons indeed learned from this. I believe the most important lessons that when increasing the air strikes and the operation, Daesh became weaker and weaker. In addition, when we targeting the financial support or their financing, and as well as for the foreign fighters. So as much as we can put pressure on those 2 important issues, it has a significant impact on the ground. The other important factor that we noticed is the importance of training. That was very clear during the liberation of Ramadi. The battalions, brigades, even to the level of division, that they were trained by the coalition. Their performance is much more better. Their casualties is much less than the untrained. And in total, their performance was excellent in the operations.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that one of the things that you mentioned that I wanted to narrow in on is the final phase, which is the stabilization procedures. How great of a challenge is that? How would you rank order that? Is that when the real kind of struggle begins after Daesh is destroyed and moved out of Iraq and pushed out? Or is this just a necessary part of the process?
No, it is absolutely necessary part of process for many reasons. First, we want to be assured that not to repeat the same previous mistake. And that means the coalition has to be sure that they will don't leave any vacuum there in cooperation with the Iraqi side. Otherwise, Daesh will return back. So that means the story going to be repeated. The second factor, which is another important issue, is to help the displaced people, the refugees, to return back to their homes. The challenges here is the IEDs, which is implanted almost everywhere in those cities. So that was the first priority, indeed, from the coalition to help and support the Iraqi security forces to clear those IEDs and mines that was implanted by Daesh, and it is huge. Then, also, there is an important factor, which is now the Iraqi government, the federal and the local, decided that after liberation and for the stabilization phase to be succeeded, that the people of those cities to be in charge, provide security. This is why that there is ongoing training for the local police and local security forces, whatever the name. So when now, for example, Anbar liberated, so they are already trained, so they will take their security responsibility, of course, under the leadership of the provincial authority. By law, the governor of any province, he is the highest executive authority in the province. So, and there is the security committee in the province, all of them, and the provincial council, all of them work together to provide security for the people.
And a final question. One thing that we didn't discuss is timelines.
Yeah.
From people who are discussing ongoing events inside of Iraq, give wildly differing timelines of start to finish of a process of defeating Daesh and then helping to restabilize the provincial areas. In your mind, what would be the timeline for this from start to finish?
We worked, the plan was, it has to be during a month, few months, 3-4 months maximum. But the main challenge is those AIDs. And we have limited capabilities. The capabilities that for clearing those mines is with the MOD, Minister of Defense, and the Minister of Interior. For the Minister of Defense, the two sides, they don't have the such capacity to deal with this huge number of EIDs. The second issue is that there is ongoing operations, and you know that the forces, they need those people to clear those EIDs on the way of those forces when they are moving. So the main challenge, I think, it is the EIDs. The other factor, which is that maybe it to a certain degree prohibit the civilians return back to their homes, is the destruction. And you know, because of the economic crisis in Iraq, because of the drop of the oil prices, still it is, we are looking, and there is a support from the international community to help Iraq, financially, to start the reconstruction of, at least to provide the essential services, health, electricity, the schools of the kids, and the houses of the people.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for your analysis today, and we are glad you were able to join us.
Thank you so much.